Okay, so let's look at number 1 for task 2. It says select all the statements that are true about the bases and heights in a parallelogram. Now, of course, before you do this activity, you have to make sure that you study the diagrams above this question. Okay, so let's look at choice A. It says only the horizontal line of a parallelogram can be a base. So let's scroll up to see if that's true. So looking at the examples of a parallelogram, it looks like the left side was a base, the bottom horizontal line was a base, the left horizontal line was a base, and the bottom was a base again. So that cannot be true because you see that the base switches up in the ones that are examples. Okay? So B, kind of like A, kind of makes B, or helps me see that B can be true. Any side of the parallelogram can be a base. Now let's look at C. It said a height can be drawn at any angle to the side chosen to be the base. So earlier I drew this, just having fun with it, but I just drew that, so I don't want you guys to think that that was already in the book. So let's make our study. Okay, so it said a height can be drawn at any angle to the side chosen as a base. So if we look at the examples, I see 90-degree angles that indicate the height. Okay, but when I look at the ones that's non-example, I don't see that 90-degree angle to identify the height. Okay, so it's at a different angle, this one's at a different angle, this one's at a different angle, and this one is labeling this as the base and this as the height, and the height would be right here. So that can't be true either. So the height cannot be drawn at any angle. Now let's look at part D. It said a base and its corresponding height must be perpendicular to each other. Now perpendicular is when it creates a 90-degree angle. And I don't know if you guys recall this from a previous lesson. Anytime you see this little box within 2 legs of an angle, that indicates that it's a right angle, which equals 90 degrees. Okay, so let's look at the ones that are not perpendicular, but let's look at the ones that indicates the height correctly. So when I look at the ones that indicates the height correctly, I see that little box that indicates a 90-degree angle. However, when I look at the ones that are non-examples, I don't see that little 90-degree angle symbol. So I can declare that D is correct. Now let's look at E. A height can only be drawn inside of a parallelogram. So let's go back to studying our example and our non-example. So when we look at our example, there is one where the height is not even inside the parallelogram, so E can't be true either. And like I said, I'm just using my diagrams above to help me answer these questions. So then I'm going to scroll all the way down to F. And it says, F says a height can be drawn outside a parallelogram as long as it is drawn at a 90-degree angle to the base, which we just checked that out, and that is true. It has that 90-degree angle and is drawn to the base. So that is true. And the last one for G is that a base cannot be extended to meet the height, and that is totally not true. Okay, so if you guess B, D, and F, you are absolutely correct and you're on the right track. If you're still confused about this example or trying to find the corresponding height, make sure you go to your Google Meet with your virtual manager.